I'm here at the park with my intern, Alina Roque.
Oh.
And what I decided was, a lot of times I was talking to Alina, there's so much stigma against mental health and getting help you need from a therapist when you're in trouble in your relationship or your life. And so Alina and I thought we would try and help out. We'll tell you exactly what you should expect, because I am a licensed counselor. And when people come and see me, I think for the first 10 minutes, they're so nervous, and I'm going to try and take that away from you.
So we thought that a lot of issues that people are dealing with relate around trust in their relationship, growing distant from their partner, and learning how to forgive. So we wanted to talk about when it would be a good time for you to go and see a therapist and what you would expect when you got to therapy.
Right. So I usually tell people that anytime you begin feeling like your issue is becoming paramount, that like it starts getting in the way of going out on your date night, it starts getting in the way in the bedroom, you start seeing it brought into the kids' discipline, or when you're over at other friends, one of you starts bringing it up, it's time. And usually that's about after a month. If you can't solve the issue within a month, I'd say that's a great time to go to therapy.
So Mary Jo, how does someone find a therapist? Do they Google them or do it or find someone by word of mouth?
That's a great question, because a lot of times people write to me and ask me. What you can do is I suggest for women to talk to your well woman doctor, because most physicians actually have a list of therapists and they're ones they work with, so they're already known. If you have insurance, go ahead and talk to your insurance provider, find out someone close to you, someone in your network, and then you can kind of go on that. You can make email referrals, you can write to them, or you can call them sometimes. If those things don't work, talk to someone else, a friend, or someone who has gone. Many times friends are the best referrer. They know who treats you well and who can really help you with your problem.
So what does a person do if they don't feel comfortable with a therapist that they start seeing?
That's a great question. If you go to a therapist and you don't feel good, you don't have a good vibe, or you talk to them, you don't like their voice or you don't like their procedure, stay away. Basically, the most important thing when you go to therapy is that you like the therapist, that you feel this therapist understands and gets me. So you've already made the contact. You've either called or you've emailed. Like for me, I have everybody go to my website and come in through my website, because I want in print exactly what the issue is, because that way I have something to go on. When you first come in, I already have an idea and different information pulled from files that I think is going to help you. So you'll come in and you can kind of, offices are all different. Some of the best therapists are in houses, they're in office buildings. That's not so important. What's important is just get an eyeball of the office. It should be clean. It should look professional. You should feel good. And then your therapist will come out, greet you, and then you should sit down with them. Sometimes they'll want to give you an assessment, like you mentioned. Sometimes not. Mostly, that first session, they're going to want a history.
So how could a therapist help someone or a couple that is struggling with forgiveness in their marriage? And what types of homework would the therapist give the couple to do?
Well, and that's a great question, because not every therapist gives homework. And that's something you'll want to ask up front, and I'm glad you brought that up. Some therapists like just to process in the session. I personally like homework, because I like to move people from where they are to another place. If I don't see progress, then I get bored and frustrated, and I can only imagining that they are feeling the same thing. So basically, if you're coming in and you are dealing with forgiveness, let's face it, this is something every couple has to learn to do, because every couple has reasons at times they're hurt from something that they don't feel their partner could understand, and you cannot go back. So basically, no matter how much they say they're sorry, and many times the person that hurt you doesn't say you're sorry, they're sorry in a way you can feel in your heart. basically it's an inside job. You have to decide, okay, my carrying this is too heavy. I can no longer bear it. It's hurting my marriage, and I'm just not going to go there anymore. There are exercises we can do in the session. One of those is having role play, having them exchange roles. If it was the two of them that one hurt the other, if you exchange roles, the partner gets to feel it and is more compassionate about knowing how to mend it. Many times writing a letter to your partner, and because you can say things that you, on paper, that you can't say verbally, and then being able to make amends with it. It is really something the individual has to do. The partner can help them by just reconfirming, I love you, I would have never hurt you. If I had it to do over, I would have made sure this never happened.
Would you suggest that couples go in individually at first and then together, or start off together?
That's a good question too, and it depends on the therapist. I like to see them together first, except sometimes when it's an intimacy or sex issue and the specific client who thinks they are solely responsible, they'll want to come in alone, and then I think it's a good idea. But every therapist is different. There's no right or wrong, but I'm glad you asked that. There is nothing that you can't get help with and more clarity by going to a therapist. Who you go to, how many sessions is determined by who you see. Who you see is usually determined by who you hear about, word of mouth, but do not settle for someone you don't like. That's a big mistake. You want the person you go to be able to listen to you objectively, not judge you. Mostly you want someone who can keep your story confidential. You should leave there feeling like you've got a partner, somebody on your team who's going to take over and guide you. So I hope this helps.
Me too. Hope it helps somebody.
If it doesn't, well, if it does or doesn't, let us know. We just want to know what you need more, because remember, you're the boss, and I and Alina work for you. So tell us what's going on, and we'll be able to try and get you through it. Bye.